Okay. I think my group did achieve a true dialogue because we were all conversing about the topic. Our topic was equality between different genders. There were definitely some people who were more quiet than others, but they would still put their opinions in. And if somebody noticed that they really hadn't put their opinion in, especially the group leaders, they would like stop the conversation and ask them what they thought about it. Um, the leaders were really nice. They did a good job. Especially at first, because no one was really talking at first, because I guess everyone was a little bit nervous about having a dialogue. But we did a couple, little icebreakers to get everyone talking, and then after that, it was a pretty good dialogue. No one was arguing about the different points, and even though some people had completely different opinions, like one girl thought, well, not really that she thought, but that's what she wanted to do. All she wanted to be was a housewife and, have kids. And then another girl grew up thinking that she has to take care of herself and that she has to be able to provide for herself and for her kids just in case her husband left her or something like that. Like she wasn't going to rely totally on her husband. Um, there were definitely more active voices in the dialogue than others. Especially there were three basketball players that definitely stood out, but they were a little bit more comfortable because they all knew each other and they were from the same basketball team together. So if one was being quiet and wouldn't really say what they were supposed to say at that time, the other two would call them out or do something like that. There were some more reserved people too. Obviously, if there's more active people, there's gonna be. They wouldn't really say what they wanted to say unless we went around the complete circle and had to share our opinions. I was definitely one of those people, just because I don't know. I agreed with most of what people were saying, and we would break off into smaller groups, into about 3 or 4 people, and then we would come up with something to share with the group, and then as a group we would share it. When we were within those groups of threes, I would talk more, obviously, because it's a little bit more comfortable when there's just 2, 3 other people to talk to instead of 20, 25. Um, the dialogue, I can see why it's an important part to be able to have a dialogue with someone and not just arguing with them about their opinions, because especially maybe not so much at a high school because you're all from the same area and you're generally exposed to the same opinions and ideas. Like someone from the north won't necessarily have the same opinion as someone from the south. But when you go to college, you get people from all over the country and even from different countries. So they're going to grow up with different standards and different, I don't know, I guess just different standards about whether or not what role a woman should play in society. There are definitely some countries where it's just expected still for the women to marry and have kids and just raise the children. And then there are other countries where the women have to, or expected to get a job and to help provide for the family. In America, I guess, we're lucky enough that we can make that decision ourselves and decide whether or not we want to get a job. And that was one of the things, especially with the basketball players, they were from countries in Africa. So they had a nice different perspective on it. They would all tell stories about what they would do as a family, and it wasn't even that was the standard or what was expected of the women. It was just that the women had to help out to provide for their families. They didn't have an option of it. So when they got here, they're surprised to hear other people in the group talk about how they were only at college because their parents told them to come and because they had to, basically, because their families wanted them to be able to provide for themselves. They would be surprised when they would say when the girls would say all they wanted to do was to have a family and to be a mother, and they wouldn't even be in college unless except that their parents had made them come and to send them there. It's like I said, a dialogue's a useful tool to have in college, so you don't pick fights with everybody that you talk to. Because you definitely have to be able to see both sides and not to be able you have to be able to like see somebody else's opinion and see the validations and like why they would think that, where they came from that made them think that, instead of just saying right off the bat, you're wrong and this is the right way to do it and this is why. Yeah, I guess that's it.